Unit 2, Anton Chekhov, a marriage proposal. This is also known as a proposal or the proposal. But before we start, I think we need to understand why and what and how about drama. So, drama is a story which is performed by actors on a stage for a live audience. Now, there's 3 or 4 important words you have to remember. When I say drama, I am not referring to the teledrama or drama that is shown on the film. I'm talking a performance where actors perform in a theater, not cinema hall, in a theater, in front of a large or small audience who is physically present. So the definition of drama is this, that it's a story which is performed by actors on a live stage. Is there any difference between theater and drama?
Theater is the place where we see drama.
What else do you think theater is? It's a place, as theater said, but it is also the entire act of performing, or it's a place where entire gamut of performing arts come alive. When I say performing arts, I'm saying about painting, I'm saying about music, I'm saying about sculpture, I'm saying about human expressions and acting, I'm saying about a lot other things, even architecture. So these are all alive when you talk of theater. But when you say drama, you just say it's a piece of a text. A text which later on is enacted by a group of people on a live stage. Drama is a story enacted by actors on a stage for a live audience. You have to remember this. And why it is important to remember? Because we don't want to mix it up with films and television, right? So the entire idea of a drama and theater is different when we talk of theater versus film or television. In film and television, you know that actors perform, but they don't perform continuously. In drama and theater, actors perform continuously on a stage. They are alive. There is no cut. There is no break. There is no makeup man in between. All the elements may appear similar to drama in the film and in the television. You may call actors in the theater as actors. In the film as well, you can call them actors. But the difference is this. Theater and drama is a live activity, alive. It's not recorded. It's not pre-recorded or post-recorded. It's not edited. The important word here is edited. It is not an edited version that you see on the stage. Everybody is alive. So that's, you can see on the stage, and if you have seen drama performed by actors on the stage, you can sense it. And that is the pleasure of performing to the audience alive. You have audiences expressing, whether it's laughter or it's a surprise or it's disgust or it's anger or it's different kinds of emotion that we talked in CS class, 9 different kinds of emotions. You can see that when an actor is performing. Telling basically, where you have dialogue and action. Now we are going into the details of the drama and its elements. Dialogue, again, it's not a dialogue between two people talking about Netflix series. It may be about that, but it is not that only. There may be stage directions. Okay, so the room is like this, and the room is arranged as a bedroom, and it is 1950s, and the time is the morning. All these details come in stage directions. Where the actor moves, how does he speak, that all were a part of stage directions at a time, but now it is removed. The drama has evolved over the years of time. So it's a performance that we are watching, and they make us believe that they are either King Lear or Leonidas or let's say Ram or Hanuman. They perform somebody else and they make us believe, even though you have seen the actor 100 times. I have seen Nasiruddin Shah acting in 5 different roles in 5 different plays, and I know he is Nasiruddin Shah, but when he is on the stage, I can't say whether he is Nasiruddin Shah or the character he is playing. That's very crucial. So an actor is trying to be something else. And this something else is the work of fiction, the work of storytelling the writer does. So they are more or less written by a person, performed by actors, may be interpreted by a director, and then audience is shaping the way how it is to be interpreted. In one of the plays that I have seen, where Tara Arts, British South Asian Theatre Company, was performing the Odyssey, which is combination of Ramayana and the Greek play, Greek epic Odyssey. And the director is trying to juxtapose 2 different characters, and he wants to convey a subtle message. But his message may not be interpreted by the audience the way he interprets. So in a performance, it is the audience who makes the meaning out of it. Similarly, in one of the plays, the same company, British Asian Theatre, British South Asian Theatre, Tara Arts, they performed a play written by Hardeep Singh Kohli, The Miser, The Conjures. So there are plays where the writer writes something, director interprets something else, and the audience is using it differently, getting the meaning differently. What I mean to say that when I interviewed Hardeep Singh Kohli, he said that there are certain lines, certain sections of the play where I wanted audience to laugh, and they did not laugh. So performances are influenced by the audience, and if actor gets that hint, he may try to improvise at that time, that this is a punchline and the audience must laugh here or express certain emotions, and if they are not doing it, the actor will improvise. So it's a very dynamic relationship between actor and the audience. And this dynamic relationship cannot be seen visibly. It can be felt. And that's what the medium is. Right? So when you read a play, you interpret the play and you have your own meaning. But when you watch a play, the actor will give you the meaning, or maybe the property will give you the meaning. We'll talk about property. The stage will give you the meaning. The back scenery will give you the meaning. But in reading, you have to imagine that. Everything you have to imagine. So whenever we are trying to study drama, we need to understand that it is not for the medium of reading, it is for the medium to be enjoyed while watching the play. And that's where it should be seen in that sense. The response of the audience will also affect our own response. For example, we laugh louder when the rest of the audience is laughing too. So it's a contagious, whatever expressions you feel in the theater hall, it's contagious. So let's try to understand what do we mean by drama. Is it a chat between two characters regarding Netflix series or a movie? No, not at all. Is drama a theater? No. Drama is a written text. A theater is entire performance and performing arts coming together to make us believe that the story is real. The belief element is very crucial in theater. In drama, it is the text version of the theater. Now, drama can be different and theater can be different, and we'll see that difference. How is it different from television and films? Television and film programs are always edited. It's not live. And if it is live, it's a medium where somebody is showing you the angle from which you have to see. So your angle is restricted. So remember, in drama, you read. In theater, you watch and experience. In TV and films, you see it from a particular angle that a cameraman or a director is asking you to watch. In theater, you can watch it from different angles and you can enjoy it differently compared to tele and films. Why it is important? Why drama is important? Any ideas? Why do we need drama? Why do we need theater? In order to understand the need, we need to go to the history. And the history tells us that this form was mainly used for two purposes: entertainment and educate. Today, we only use, to some extent, educate. Mostly our entertainment comes from theater. And when we compare to tele and films, the theater is dying. So the history is rich. Each culture had forms of theater, forms of performing arts, mainly two purposes. In Indian context, maybe three: entertainment, education, and bhakti, devotion. How is it different from other forms of literature? When we say theater, we don't encourage people to read. We encourage people to experience, be part of it. And that's how it is different. In literature, you get your own meaning. In theater, there are multiple meanings. The meaning that the playwright can give you, the meaning a director can give you, a meaning an actor can give you, a meaning a scenographer can give you, a meaning lightings can give you, a meaning music can give you, a meaning property can give you. So drama is different from literature, theater is different from literature, because in theater there are multiple ways you can understand and derive meaning. It's alive, whereas literature and other forms of literature is to be read in isolation. You read a piece of novel, you find a corner in the house or in a library. But theater is a social and community activity. Unfortunately, today, due to pandemic, we have many shows of theaters. There are theater companies in Ahmedabad which are dying. Some of them were closed because of the lockdown situation. The rules of social distancing, crowd gathering. That's how theater is different from literature. Yes, is drama meant to be seen and experienced, or is it to be read? We have answered that question. Drama is to be read, whereas theater is to be seen and experienced. Any questions so far? Okay, so let's look at drama from this chart. Drama consists two types of writing. One that is dialogue, and the second is stage directions, where characters speak among themselves, that is dialogue, and the characters move, speak, describing the sets. So in drama, you have two types of writing. One is dialogue, and the second is instructions for the directors and the actors. The second type of writing, that is stage direction, is gradually declining at present. And there are some directors, there are some actors who don't even require the text, any writing, and they go and perform. That's highly creative, and it's highly dangerous as well. We'll talk about it later when we have a specific situation to talk about. There can be two types of presentation. If it is a text, that means you read a book like this, it's Shakespeare's collection of plays, then it can be called as literature. But I don't want to read this, I want to perform it, then it can be presented in that way only. So remember, drama has two important components in terms of writing, in terms of presentation. One is writing, second is presentation. In writing, you have two components. One, dialogue, second, stage directions. In terms of presentation, it has again two different ways. One, you can read it as a literature, which is not a good idea. And then second is to perform the text. So far, things are clear, I suppose. So the play is divided largely into several parts. And these parts can be called acts. And these acts, again, can be further divided into scenes. Now, you can have multiple acts and multiple scenes. It depends on the writer. How many lines of poem I need to write, it will be decided by me only. Nobody else is going to decide. And more or less, it depends on the storytelling art, right? So a Shakespeare can write 5-act play, and one act can be divided into 4 to 5 scenes. So you have a range of time period, how much to perform. 90 minutes, that is 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's too much time for today's audience to sit in a theater. So now you have 60 minutes or 45 minutes play. It entirely depends on the writer and the director, how much they want to bring the structural element of a play. There are series of plays together put as part 1, part 2, and part 3, titled differently, and you have to sit for more than 90 minutes. And that's very interesting. Recently, if you are aware of National School of Drama, they have this every year, Bharat Rang Mahotsav. And in 2013, one of the actors, sole actors, he packed himself in a room, glass room, and every act of his was visible to the passers-by. And that was a different kind of drama. different kind of performance, different kind of theater. So it depends, and he stayed there for almost 6 to 7 hours or even more. The recording I saw was 6 to 7 hours long, but it was maybe an entire day. So the audience can see what he is doing inside the glass house, and he is performing his daily routine. So the plays can be divided into acts and then scenes. And you have to remember that, because that may be the technical aspect that some of you may encounter these terms while reading different versions of different plays. Okay, these scenes may be different from other scenes. For example, I may be talking to a friend in the college in one scene, and in the next scene I may go to my house or hostel, right? So the scenes may change the place. And when the places are changed, the background, the scene, the set also changes. So it can happen that scenes may be performed in different locations, and these locations require different settings, different stage properties, different scenery, different scenography, different times of the day, maybe noon, morning, or evening. So the scenes may be divided again into different groupings. We will talk about it when we talk of this more, because when Anton Chekhov writes, he divides this into different sections, how the play is performed. Now, it is not necessarily fact that a play is written as a play. It can be an adaptation of a novel. It can be an adaptation of a short story or a folk tale or even a biography. Nathuram Godse's who killed Gandhi. It's a kind of discourse that is being dramatized onto the stage. A poem can also be performed, but the dramatization brings scenes, characters, and action into play. That means if I'm dramatizing a part of poetry, you may see where I'm going, what is the background, whom am I meeting, who are my characters in the, what characters I do bring in the performance, and how do I convey that message from the poetry. So the entire thing becomes an impact of dramatization, and the audience may feel that. They can sense it, they can experience it. So a play can be written as a play, but not necessarily that it is only a play. It can be an adaptation of a novel, short story, folktale, biography. If I'm going to adapt the work of fiction, autobiography of, let's say, Mahatma Gandhi, I may be using the base as the story that is being told by Gandhi in his autobiography. I'll remove certain sections of that fiction or writing and to convert it, and I will convert that into performance. So films are also adapted, and that's a very interesting field, and you may find it more interesting when you compare. We have this Omkara and Shakespeare's Othello, how they are adapted, and what is that dramatization that they are, the director and the writers are trying to do. Okay, we have two types of forms. One is comedy and the second is tragedy. you know what comedy is and you know what tragedy is. So I am not going into the details, but these are two major forms as far as the Western definition of theater is concerned. If we look at the Indian aspect of theater, we have 10 different kinds of theater, not just two, right? We'll discuss whenever we get time about this Dasarupak that Indian theater tradition has. So, comedy and tragedy. We are going to focus on comedy because Anton Chekhov's marriage proposal has the elements of comedy. What is the difference between tragedy and comedy? It's tragedy is the inevitable that you cannot change the outcome. Somebody's death, for example, some war, for example, something. Now, yes, Princey or somebody asked me what is the definition of universal and how it is different. Now, when we say universal, universal means it appeals to everybody. Everybody beyond the border, beyond the color, beyond the religion, beyond the language, beyond the caste, beyond the clan, beyond the class system or economics. So if a story that is told to you, and you can say, yes, that's true for us as well, right? Though it is written in Greek context, though it is written in European context, though the culture is different from ours, you still feel that I can connect to the story. The inability to decide, the lust for power in Macbeth, the doubt in As You Like It. No, sorry. The doubt in The Winter's Tale, husband and wife, the relation between, the love story of Romeo and Juliet. All these are examples of themes which are universal. It appeals us beyond everything. Death appeals us, love appeals us, laughter appeals us, somebody's accident appeals us, treachery appeals us. It connects us to something that has been narrated to us. So in that sense, we can say universal. But when you say universality, that means we are trying to impose something on the others. For example, the story in the not Macbeth, Tempest. The Tempest story tells us that Ariel has to be subjugated by the King Prospero. Now, this is not universality. You may find it, but you cannot say universality. Instead, the contemporary theater thinkers and performer, artists, and everybody who is into critical studies have coined a new word called archetype. Right? So, and that's what we dealt in previous sessions. So instead of calling any as a universal writer, we need to call the writer or the character the archetypical writer. Okay. Yes, there is a question. We have less than 1 minute, so I will address that. Sir, I have to send my email to you. Okay, Janvi, don't worry. You can do it on YouTube. On WhatsApp. Okay, so it is emotional and almost all the emotions are there, but the predominant emotion is sadness, death related. The protagonist does not achieve the goals. Protagonist is alienated from the society and he is average or better. But if you look at the Greek tragedies, they are all superheroes, kings. They come from a very elite class. And he falls, and that's where the tragedy happens. Oh my God, the king did this, or